What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, the Puerto Rican Conservative, and I made a live video earlier with this, but unfortunately, Facebook was blocking out everything that I was saying, so I have to do the video on my phone and then post it afterwards. Sorry about that. Anyways, today's news is concerning Kanye West. As everybody knows, less than 6 hours ago, Kanye West ended up reaffirming his support for Donald Trump, saying that he will be wearing the MAGA hat in all of his future performances. Now, I know you're probably asking yourself, why is this news? Well, this is news because not long ago, Kanye West ended up walking away from the right when he discovered that Candace Owens had, without his permission, utilized his name in order to promote her clothesline and her movement known as Blexit, the Black Exit Movement. Immediately after Kanye West walked away from the right, less than 4 days later, Kanye West ended up making a donation of $200,000 to progressive Chicago mayoral candidate Amara Enya. So wait a minute, you're telling me that Kanye West, the one that basically got rich off of the right, and I explained that in a few minutes, decided that even though he didn't give no contributions to any right-wing candidates, that's including Donald Trump himself, he gave $200,000 to a progressive known as Amara Enya? Kanye West has contributed 2 donations totaling $200,000 to the campaign of mayoral candidate for mayor Amara Enya. Now, the reason it was 2 donations is because of the following reasons. The first donation was given to Amara Enya by Kanye West in order for her to square up with the elections committee, whom she had owed a few $1,000s to for withdrawing prematurely from a previous race. So Kanye West gave her exactly the amount that she needed in order to re-enter the race, and then gave her a second donation of $126,460 for her actual campaign. So then, this to me is exactly as stated here. Kanye West's financial support of Amara Enya is certainly an about face. How do you go from stating that you support Donald Trump and the right-wing agenda to donating $200,000 to a progressive? Because like I stated here, Kanye West turns his back on Trump, says he's done being used for the conservative agenda. Wait a minute, didn't he just state 6 hours ago that he's going to be wearing his MAGA hat to all of his performances? Gee, maybe it has something to do with him realizing that he's able to monetize off of the gullibility of the right by wearing his MAGA hat in the same way that Joy Villa, who voted for Bernie Sanders, wore her Make America Great Again dress for the 2017 Grammys and ended up becoming the #1 downloadable music overnight because of it. Kanye West has been used as a pawn to advance President Donald Trump's MAGA movement, this from no less than the man himself. Let's check out his tweet right here. My eyes are now open and now realize I've been used to spread messages I don't believe in. I am distancing myself from politics and completely focusing on being creative. And this was on October 30th, 2018. And on November 5th or November 4th, he ended up donating the first few thousands of dollars to progressive Amara Enya, and then a week later, donating an additional $126,000 to the same progressive. Do you understand what's going on? Are you following me? Kanye West distances himself from the alternative right provocateur, Candace Owens, as well as the right. Why, though? And why are they identifying Candace Owens and Turning Point USA as the alternative right? Well, because they are. If you think about what Turning Point USA does and what Candace Owens does, the only thing they do is that they focus on identity movement mongering, pointing fingers, race baiting, and fear mongering by spreading Hispanophobia and ethno-racism. Now, it says right here, on Tuesday evening, Kanye West denied the claim that he had designed a logo and merchandise for a political branding exercise called Blexit, which urges black voters to leave the Democratic Party, of course, started by none other than Candace Owens herself. I introduced Candace to the person who made the logo, he wrote, but did not identify the designer in question because the designer's a liberal and didn't want anything to do with it neither. They didn't want their name on it, so she used mine. She used Kanye West. I never wanted any association with Brexit, Kanye West said. I have nothing to do with it. And he stated it here as well in his tweet. And for those of you who are skeptical, you can see the blue check mark right there. And if you don't believe that because you're still a mule or sheep, whatever, just backtrack the date right here, October 30th, 2018. Go to his Twitter page, and on October 30th, 2018, at 4:25 p.m., you will find exactly the same tweet. Candace Owens claims that Kanye West is right, that he was being used. And guess who decided to omit it? Fox News, Breitbart News, Turning Point USA, Red Elephant, and this is why they considered the alternative right. Now, for those of you who don't know much about Candace Owens, let me remind you that Candace Owens was a former Trump hater and detractor. She was also the CEO of 180 Degrees, who was extremely anti-Trump. But with the fact that Owens was once the CEO of Degree 180, an online publication with anti-Trump messaging, caused her to fall out of favor with the MAGA crowd? Hell no. Matter of fact, I've lost hundreds of followers because I've addressed this. Oh, what a tangled web we weave when we first tried to hide the Trump-hating receipts, which he has and can be backtracked throughout the internet. Even though the Degree 180 website has been deleted, BuzzFeed decided to dig into it, and they found an archive that found stories that she shared claiming that Donald Trump had likely a very small penis in 2015 her column, and that it was good news that the Republican Tea Party will eventually die off. Now, this should strike nobody as no surprise, being that Candace Owens went to the Joe Crowley show and claimed that she is against any website that is .com because she doesn't believe in the commercialization of websites and she doesn't support capitalism. She supports .orgs, government-ran networks. Understand what she's saying. Wake up. Stop living your life with your eyes wide closed. Hashtag eyes wide closed. The newest star of the Trump movement ran a Trump-bashing publication less than 2 years ago. Candace Owens. Why the sudden hype about Candace Owens? Have people forgot about her doxing project? Candace Owens created a social website known as Social Autopsy that basically allowed people to catalog and dox the thought crimes of people, and it was turned into a database where you can put the name of your friends and your family members and co-workers, and you can find the thought crimes that they've committed online. This is typical George Orwell's 1984 Blue Book project. Now, the red pill, even in IMDb, there's a documentary written by Tree of Logic. It says Candace Owens wanted to dox us for typing mean things. When she went online on Facebook on March and she decided that she was going to throw a verbal assault against the social justice movement that was trying to protect our kids, the degenerates in the right decided that social justice warriors and the left were synonymous, so they embraced Candace Owens. This is Candace Owens right here. Wave goodbye to cyberbullies under which the pretext was created and trolls. Socialautopsy.com, where they're going to literally try to break the internet. Look at Candace Owens right here. Look at her right there. She's the CEO. Social Autopsy, created by Degree 180 CEO Candace Owens, was a website intended to help curb online harassment by making people accountable for their words, aka doxing them, keeping a record of all their thought crimes. According to the now suspended Kickstarter campaign, which was suspended by social justice warriors on the left, it would have been a searchable database where anyone could look up the names of your friends, family members, co-workers, or strangers and see their online activities as well as their thought crimes. What's the number one defense people use when they are making awful comments online, says Candace Owens? I'm exercising my First Amendment rights. The creator of Social Autopsy wrote, let's create a database where we capture them exercising those rights and create digital records that anyone can access. Digital records, profiles, digital catalogs of our thought crimes. In a series of tweets, Owens promised that the site would only catalog posts on adults' public Facebook pages, but then she later expressed that she supports the expansion of the database to include anonymous tweets, fan fiction, minors, and gamers. I think it's important we do include minors, but some of my partners categorically disagree. Categorically. She is a wordsmith. This is how she became famous. Now ask yourself one of the biggest questions that anyone can ask themselves. Why hasn't Q reported on this? Because Q is nothing more than a distraction. Q is not promoting critical thinking. Q is promoting collectivism, the collective thinking, the sheep-like mentality, the cult-like mentality. Just look at the motto and what the motto implies. Where we go one, we go all. Does that not tell you that what Q is promoting is collectivism, and collectivism is nothing more than an extension of socialism, because collectivism promotes social or economic equality, and capitalism focuses on individual capacity, propensity, and ability. Individuals, when one moves forward and one falls as an individual, and we do not bring the system down with us. Through collectivism and through socialism and the collective mentality, because they are so codependent on one another and their role in that system, when one falls, they all fall with them, because they are all completely relying on the Marxist national economy. Yes, socialism is collectivism and capitalism is wage system. The concept of socialism and capitalism have definite meanings. Socialism is defined as state ownership of the means of production. The definition has been accepted by the most consistent practitioners of collectivist creed in failed socialist countries. Now, this is an economical form of implementing collectivism, but collectivism also deals with behavioral conditioning, which is the process of either encouraging or discouraging people from either behaving or not behaving in certain ways, or relaying or not relaying certain narratives in accordance with how those narratives align with the narratives being promoted by agendas on both sides of the political aisle. Now, it begins at the top with the operand. The operand conditioning implies that the one that drafts the idea or the narrative that should be pushed from 2016 to 2017, in the case of 2016 to 2018, race-baiting rhetoric, pointing fingers right back at the left and claiming that they are the ones that are exclusively racist, and utilizing shills and moles such as Candace Owens to play their roles and either encourage African Americans or discourage African Americans without appearing to be racist. Because this is the reason why the right was being attacked in 2016 for addressing exactly the same issues, but due to the lack of melanin, not being running into an audience that was non-receptive to the message because of their lack of melanin. So they play as Candace Owens, they play as Brandon Tatum, they play as David Harris Jr., they play as Will Smith, they play as all these African Americans, and they propel them upward to fame. And they are the ones that dictate the narrative, and then these narratives are either reinforced or punished by the NPCs that are, without even knowing they're NPCs, non-playable characters, also identified as useful idiots. They can either reinforce that what you're saying is correct and in accordance to what it means to be a right-winger by excelling you upward, by bringing up your like counts. You can be receiving 80, 100 and something likes. As soon as you stray from the narrative, you're punished, and your like and your share counts then decrease. And the same idea is trickled downward, because even through punishment, the positivity is that if they appear to be more receptive to the idea by the second time around, then you encourage them towards that route by rewarding them and liking them. Operant conditioning is a process through which the strength of a behavior is moderated or modified by reinforcement or punishment. Like I said, giving likes, giving shares, giving thumbs up, loving it, or punishment. Disliking, calling people shills, calling people liberals, calling them snowflakes, calling them moles, calling them anything that's going to detract them from speaking the truth. Now, how do we know that these process of psychological subversion exists? Because of the simple reason that if you think about it, the right was screaming that there was a wave, a red wave that was coming. According to them, a red wave was supposed to come our way. And what ended up happening? We ended up getting 2 seats in the Senate and we lost the entire House of Representatives. I asked you a question. Did Candace Owens' black exit or her original red pill black movement, did that contribute to the numbers of right-wingers going up? No, it didn't. It was just a distraction. Did the gay guy Brandon Straka, which is ironically contrary to conservative values, he was propelled into fame. Did his movement, the walkaway movement, did that contribute to the numbers of right-wingers coming out to vote? Nope. What ended up happening? Exit poll analysis, voter turnout soars. And what ended up happening with the soar? Democrats take back the House. Real cute. Real cute. Now, you know who ended up winning out of all this? Kanye West. Because when Kanye West ended up starting, he was in a $53 million debt. By December, he shook hands with Donald Trump. The following day, him and Donald Trump, the headline made #1. By 2017, he was asking Jay-Z and Beyonce for a $34 million loan. They said, okay, if you check yourself into a mental clinic, we'll give it to you for claiming that you like Donald Trump. He did it, and then he realized, wait a minute, I became relevant once again. He comes out, he drops 2 singles, says he likes Donald Trump. Both singles go platinum. His clothes start selling more than it's ever sold in the entire history. And what ends up happening? Less than 2 years, Kanye West becomes a billionaire. Now, if this doesn't say how easily you people are manipulated, I don't know what would. But don't feel bad. Joy Villa did the same thing. Joy Villa voted for Bernie Sanders. She claimed it publicly. But in 2017, a month after Donald Trump got inaugurated, Joy Villa wore the Make America Great Again dress. And guess what ended up happening? Oh yeah, she also ended up monetizing off of it. Joy Villa's MAGA dress at the Grammys paid off. How did it pay off? Well, let's see. At the 2017 Grammy Awards, Villa wore a blue dress designed by Andres Soriano promoting President Donald Trump, featuring his campaign slogan, Make America Great Again. And the name Trump, the publicity from the dress, resulted in Villa's EP, Make the Static, hitting #1, which, by the way, came out in 2014 and didn't even sell. Make the Static became #1 among digital downloads on Amazon.com, iTunes in the US. It climbed up to top 100 of several countries. iTunes charts too, including Canada, the United Kingdom, Australia, and Brazil. The album sold over 15,000 copies in the following 2 days and debuted in Billboard charts the next week at #12 with 29,000 album equivalents units, 27,000 of which were pure album sales. How does this happen? How do you guys get fooled twice in a row? And it's because of political extremism. You guys are looking fiercely for a black person to represent the right that you're failing to miss, those that have been there since day one. And you want to go ahead and you want to focus on all of these people that are already on a platform where they can reach people. And the only thing that's happening is that people are monetizing off of you. What ended up happening after Joy Villa got all that money from you guys? She ended up charging Donald Trump's staff Corey Lewandowski of sexual assaults, when it was discovered in a video that it was her who slapped a man's ass. What ended up happening with Kanye West? Oh yeah, he ended up going from owing all these tens of millions of dollars to years later becoming a billionaire. What ended up happening to Candace Owens? Oh, she went from creating a social autopsy site to dox and catalyze the thought crimes of your kids to being cheered and applauded and propelled upward into a platform of prominence. What does it really mean to have your eyes wide open when in all actuality, you guys should be hashtagging eyes wide closed. Stay safe, stay informed. La MAGA. Let's all make America great again.